What is art or agile release train in safe or scaled agile framework? Today we are going to talk about art in safe or scaled agile framework. And if you don't know me, my name is Raja Abhishek Jain. I am a certified safe coach and trainer with about 2 decades of experience in IT coaching and consulting. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. So without wasting time, I'm going to start and talking about art and different aspects of art. So I'm sharing my screen. Give me a minute. I hope you can see my screen. Yeah. So as you can see, the art, the full form of art is Agile Release Train. It has 3 words: Agile, Release, and Train. So agile is the terminology which most of you, and in fact all of you, would be aware of agile, because when I'm talking about safe, I understand that you have a basic understanding of agile and scrum related things and agile and scrum related principles and terminologies. So agile would be familiar. Release, I'm going to talk about why the word release. And the third word is train. When we think about train, train is nothing but an engine, and you have several bogies attached to it. All bogies works together with engine, and as the engine moves, all the bogies moves together. So all these bogies you can consider as teams, and engine you can consider as something which is driving the train or driving the teams. So when it comes about agile release train or art, it is something which delivers value or releases value. So that's why word comes release. And agile, anyway, you're familiar with the term agile. So agile release train. So agile release train is nothing but a train of several bogies or a team of several teams. So it is a virtual organization of 5 to 12 teams. Let me open the laser pointer. So it's a virtual organization of 5 to 12 teams, about 50 to 125 plus people. So 125 plus means it can go up to 150 people, but it should not be too large, but it should not be too small also. Otherwise, you will not get the benefit of safe if the teams are too small. So, the basic range is 5 to 12 teams, which consist a team of teams. So agile release train is nothing but a team of teams, and those teams can range from 5 to 12 teams. That is agile release train. It's like a train, several bogies. So it's like a team of teams. So that's why agile release train. So what does agile release train do? And what is the purpose that we are constituting agile release train in safe? So agile release trains are synchronized on a common cadence, which is planning interval of PI. In my last video, I told you that I'm going to talk about PI, and in this video, I'm going to talk about PI. When we talk about SAVE, we often heard terms like PI planning, PI objectives, PI retrospective, PI system demo. But what is PI? So PI is nothing but a planning interval. This planning interval has the duration or interval of 8 weeks to 12 weeks. 8 weeks to 12 weeks means 4 to 6 iterations. Iterations is nothing but a sprint, which is defined in your Scrum framework. The Scrum framework defines it as a sprint, and Safe framework defined it as a iteration. So iteration and sprint are same thing as I described in my last video on system demo. So planning interval is nothing but the interval of 8 to 12 weeks where you're doing planning for 8 to 12 weeks. So 8 weeks or 12 weeks, 12 weeks is a quarter. So it is also called quarterly planning by some organization. So you're talking about the big planning here. So in a sprint, what you do, you plan for one sprint, which is 2 to 3 weeks or maybe 1 month or less. So you plan for a shorter duration because Scrum is a lightweight framework where you work in sprints, and when you do the sprint planning, you're talking about 2 weeks or 3 weeks of planning. So the interval horizon is small, and maybe you're talking on a high level of second and third sprints. That is it, not more than that. But when it comes about safe, there are several teams which comes together in planning, and you plan for a longer interval, which is 8 to 12 weeks or 4 to 6 iterations or sprints. So art is basically the team of teams which is synchronized on a common cadence, and that common cadence is called a planning interval. So I hope you understand the term PI. PI is the heartbeat and the central aspect of the safe. So you should be very much careful and very much thoughtful about what is PI. The first thing you should understand about safe is PI. That is the central theme. Aligned to a common mission via single art backlog. So these agile release train is aligned to a common mission. So when you talk about 5 to 12 teams, these teams all comes together to work for a common mission. So they have a common mission on which they should be working on. So here you are seeing this as a agile release train, which consists of 5 to 12 teams normally, and they will work for a common mission through a single art backlog. So what is the art backlog? In Scrum terminology, we understand the team backlog or sprint backlog. We understand Scrum, we all understand Scrum. So we understand the team backlog is nothing but a sprint backlog. When we talk about art backlog, it's a backlog of all the teams working in agile release state. It's a consolidated backlog of team of agile teams. That is called art backlog. You can understand it as a program backlog also for your convenience. But in SAFe, we don't use term like program or project for specific reasons, because SAFe doesn't recommend the use of language project and program, because project and programs are now obsolete. They're not used. In fact, you should not work on projects and program. You should work on epics and epics and value streams. And why you should work on epics and value stream, and why you should not work on projects and program, and what is the difference between epics and projects, that I'm going to create a separate video for that, which will let you understand why you should stop working on projects and why you should opt for epics and what is the benefit you get out of it. But here for simplicity, you can understand art backlogs like a program backlog, but we don't use the term program, we use the term art. And similarly, as we are the SAFe coaches, certified SAFe coaches, we are called Safe Practice Consultant. SPC means Safe Practice Consultant. Previously, we used to be called Safe Program Consultant, but now Safe are deprecating the term project and program. So they're using the term Safe Practice Consultant. So this is important. So here you are seeing this art backlog, which is filled, which is the input for the agile release train. There are some more terminologies here. You can see continuous delivery pipeline, continuous exploration, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and release on demand, which I'm going to touch in brief into the next slide. But I'll create a separate detailed video on continuous delivery pipeline. So watch this space and subscribe to my channel. And this is the customer at the end of a journalist which gets the value or the product or solution. So let's go to the next slide and let us talk about art in some more detail. Okay. So art is basically a long-lived and cross-functional team of agile teams. So it's a team of agile teams. It's not a one team. It's many teams that comes together. So team of agile teams, and it is a long-lived. Long-lived means it is created from the long-term perspective, long-term view. The art is created. So unlike the lightweight framework like Scrum, where you have a single team which is working on some piece of functionality or some piece of product or solution, and it is usually a short-lived team. But here it is the team of teams, and the purpose of creating art is from the long-term perspective. And like Scrum teams, the art is also cross-functional. So this is important to understand here. And yeah, and you don't, not only working with your teams, there are a lot of stakeholders apart from your teams which works with you in art. So what are the stakeholders and what are the different other stakeholders? I'll create a separate video for that to understand the stakeholders of art. So right now there are stakeholders which is apart from team. There are many other stakeholders also. Develops and delivers solution incrementally. So again, they all work together and they deliver the solution incrementally. So normally iteration, in the Scrum you say it's safe, here you say iteration. So iteration is normally 2 weeks, typically 2 weeks in a safe framework. And every 2 weeks, all the teams deliver value in their own context and in their own team, and they integrate it together. So that is called that is demoed, and that's called system demo that I showed in my last video. And this is done, as I said, using a fixed iterations within a PI time box. We talked about it. So as I said, the art aligns to a common business and technology mission. The art is a primary construct of value delivery in SAFe. So in SAFe, the primary construct which delivers the value is art. So this is very important thing that you understand art before understanding anything about SAFe. So understanding what is PI and what is art is the two very important aspects here, which I am describing in this video. So arts and art are cross-functional and have all the capabilities such as software, hardware, firmware, and others. So what happens when you create a Scrum team? Scrum, which is a lightweight framework, the SAFe is a heavyweight framework. So here we are talking about all heavyweights. So when we talk about Scrum, which is a lightweight framework, there is a team. There can be a one team which is following SAFe, and it can be a software, hardware, firmware, or some other team. But when you talk about art, all sort of teams come together. It may be software, hardware, firmware, and others team. They all comes together and they form a art for a common mission. And these teams basically define, implement, test, deploy, and release features and products wherever applicable, and also later on operate the solutions. So this is what art does. So this is about art. So I hope the concept of art is clear to you. Let's touch upon somewhat on continuous delivery pipeline also. So what is continuous delivery pipeline? Continuous delivery pipeline, which is also called just the pipeline, represents the workflows, activities, and automation needed to provide a continuous release of value to the end user. This pipeline consists of four elements: continuous exploration, which is C, continuous integration, which is CI, continuous deployment, which is CD, and release on demand or ROD. So this continuous delivery pipeline itself needed a video or discussion to understand more on continuous delivery pipeline. I'm just touching base this topic here because what art delivers is through the continuous delivery pipeline. So we'll talk about it maybe in some other video. I have the last slide here, which talks about the teams in SAFe are part of an art. So all the teams in SAFe are part of one or the other art, one or the other agile release train. So here you're seeing agile release train, which is working across the PI. This is the PI. And what these agile release train, these are the agile release, these are the teams, what they do into the agile release train. So all the teams which are part of the agile release train, they come together, they plan together, which is called PI planning. They demo together, which is called system demo, and they learn together, which is called inspect and adapt. For PI system demo, I have created a video. For inspect and adapt, I'm going to create a separate video. And planning together, which is PI planning, which is a very big event and the heartbeat of the SAFe, I'm going to create a separate video for that. So these all the teams come together, they plan together, demo together, and learn together. And what they explore, integrate, deploy, and release, as I said in the last slide, and they do it independently. Independently means on their own aspects, they work in their own team, and they do develop functionality in their own aspects and their own teams. But when they meet together after 2 weeks, they synchronize and they create a integrated whole of all the things. So they synchronize often. So these are the synchronization point, which happens every 2 weeks, and after at the end of the PI also they synchronize. So these are all synchronization point, but in their own aspects, when they're working internal to their team, they independently deliver the piece of functionality or piece of solution which they are working on. So that's what is mentioned here. Explore, integrate, deploy, and release independently, but then integrate together. So this is how the art basically works in SAFe. So today we talked about what is PI and what is art. I hope this video will be useful for you to understand terminologies in SAFe and following SAFe in your work and organization. So thanks for this. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel. Also, if you like my video, please like it onto the YouTube channel. Please also let me know into the comment what do you think about the video. Share to the wider audience so the others can also be benefited. And please do subscribe my channel. And if you want to learn more about SAFe or Scaled Agile framework, then you can opt for one of the official SAFe courses through us. So I'm a certified SAFe coach and trainer who is providing the training come certification and all the pre and post support for certification. So you can contact me by commenting into the comment box and I will contact you. So thanks for listening and your patience to listen this video and attend this session. Thanks. Thank you very much.